Hey everybody, it's Pete Chido, Meadville Tribune, and it's the first episode of 2020 of Sideline Confidential, the somewhat weekly podcast where me and Matt DiGiacomo and Jordan Hansgen all talk about local and national sports and Star Wars and other crap. And we took a couple weeks off for the holidays, and now we're back. Hooray. And here's our podcast. So thanks for listening. Jordan, how are you, man? How was your not vacation, I guess, but the holidays?
Oh yeah, I mean, I had a few days off, and it was nice. It was nice to see the family and everything, and I had a good break.
I miss being just a writer, because when I was just a writer, I used to be able to take like weeks off at a time during the holidays. But nowadays, I gotta make sure that paper gets done. So now I don't get much time off, and it's lame. Christmas is good, but New Year's sucked because I had to work and then other stuff. Matt, how was your, what do you call it, holidays?
Yes, all right. See, I'm in the same boat as you, though,
yeah.
with the thing. Mm-hmm. And then I have on top of that, I could have a day off and suddenly have to get a call and say, hey, my computer needs fixed. I have to come in for that.
Oh, that reminds me. Did you listen to Flo's computer? They said it was making a noise.
Yeah, it's the fan. I can unplug the fan, but then the computer's going to get hot and probably die, so...
All right. So that's this week in Meadville Tribune IT. Let's see what's going on in sports. The Bills got bounced.
Yeah, that was unpleasant. But I mean, it is what it is. You know, I just didn't really want us to embarrass ourselves. Apparently, national media still likes to make fun of our quarterback. Which is, it's fine. Like, I get it. Like, he's goofy. He does weird things. But, I don't know. I think that it's just, the way they lost is unpleasant. How they had a 16-0 lead. Had they turned more of those field goals into touchdowns, they would have been up 20-0. And it probably would have been over.
Defense needs to get some stops, too.
Defense needs to make some stops when it matters. It's hard to criticize a defense that has been like carrying the team all year, and they held the Texans to 19 points in regulation. They still couldn't win. But the weird part is the Bills had the most offense of any team in the wild card round, and the Bills' offense is normally pretty bad. But it seemed like across the NFL this weekend, the offenses just didn't really show up.
Low-scoring wildcard games.
Low-scoring wildcard games. A lot of great wildcard games. A lot of entertaining. I mean, they're all pretty close. The only one that wasn't that close was Seattle and Philly, and that came down to the wire. That came down to the final drive. But yeah, I think that the Bills have a bright future. I think that they were just, the moment was a little bit too big for them. They made a lot of mistakes, a lot of missed tackles, a lot of questionable coaching decisions, a lot of questionable quarterbacking. I mean, I thought Allen was pretty good. I mean, he did catch the only touchdown.
Yeah, that was a heck of a play.
Yeah, I mean, his receivers kind of let him down a little bit. There were 5 drops in the game, a couple in the end zone that could have totally changed it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a learning thing. I've loved everything that I've heard out of them this week. Is that they all say Allen's like, I'm not gonna be happy until I play again. Like they're just gonna. I think they've said all the right stuff, and now they just gotta, hopefully it doesn't stick on them that they can't win games. They just gotta, regroup, use it as motivation, and be better next year.
Usually that happens, after. I don't think they got a monkey on their back quite yet. It's
no,
a big year, and it takes a while to develop that, as you well know as a Bills fan, and I know as a Browns fan. Other scores in the wild card: Houston 22, Buffalo 19 in overtime. Tennessee beat New England 20-13. We got a call. Why wasn't that game in the paper? Well, I'll explain, because that ended late. We have a deadline of 11:25. That game didn't end until, it probably ended right around that time. The first story from the Associated Press didn't move till 5 minutes to 12. So we couldn't wait to finish the paper for that game. That happens sometimes with late games. If it starts at 8:30, it's an NFL game. It ain't going to make it in the paper. So that's just, you're going to have to
that college football national championship, there's no way.
Right.
Yeah, right.
If it's at 8 o'clock, I mean, every bowl game this year has been like 4 hours.
Well, college football is just a longer game because they stop the clock every first down.
Well, they also have a longer halftime for every bowl game has like an hour halftime show.
Well, they have bands. And
we'll
stuff,
get to college in 1 second. Let me finish the wild card scores. Minnesota beat New Orleans 26-20 overtime. Some really good games this weekend. Seattle beat Philly 17-9. And then, so that means divisional playoffs are this coming weekend, Saturday. Minnesota versus San Francisco, Tennessee versus Baltimore. I got to root for Tennessee on that one, don't I? On Sunday, Houston at Kansas City, and then Seattle at Green Bay. Matt, what are you looking for here in these NFL playoffs? Anything you watching them?
Bits and pieces.
I'm curious where your rooting interest is now that all of our teams are out. I mean, where is the rooting interest?
There is none.
I would think it would be cool to see Andy Reid finally win for Kansas City.
No, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I'm probably rooting for Minnesota just because I like Prince.
I think Kirk Cousins. I always like the guys that are kind of maligned, where everybody criticizes them, and I think Kirk Cousins would be a cool story, considering that I don't know. I mean, he had like $100 million, and then he was super bad last year. Mm-hmm. So
I'm with you on the Minnesota Vikings there because, I would like Reid. It's easier. Purple Rain just comes right out. It's hard to find one for the Chiefs.
Yeah,
they do the controversial. They do the controversial tomahawk.
The chefs.
Thing. Yeah,
I have to call them the chefs.
Great
like
googly if they were. Minnesota. I think it's my Uncle Packy's favorite team. So,
and there's no Patriots, so there's not a team that you're just objectively rooting against.
Or Cowboys, no Patriots or Cowboys.
At Green Bay,
or Steelers.
At Green Bay, I like the organization at Green Bay. You know what I mean?
It's kind of going to be cool no matter who wins.
Yeah. Well, except Baltimore.
Yeah, but even them, they have their, Lamar Jackson kind of maligned quarterback. And
Browns fan, Baltimore.
Yeah, no, there's no
left Cleveland.
For
Baltimore. Of course, yeah. I understand why people wouldn't like Baltimore.
So it's going to happen. So congratulations, Baltimore, on your Super Bowl victory. I appreciate it. Okay, so
we can use Purple Rain for them too because they have purple.
That's true. So you guys wanted to talk about college football. Speaking of college football, last we talked, we hadn't seen the Cotton Bowl yet. Local kid Journey Brown, kind of an amazing job. Yeah,
unbelievable performance. I think that one run, it was one of the best runs I've ever seen in my life.
The 35-yarder, yeah.
I watched that so many times in slow motion. It was unbelievable. That headbutt is just, his hand was full with one hand, he's stiff armed, all he has left is his head, and he's pop, get down. Oh. That was so good.
I'm sitting there watching the game, and then I decided to go up the street to have a drink. Brings us to Holidays.
Orange juice.
Yes. And I saw a good friend of mine, Paul Roy's in there, and Paul coached him in Little Gritters. And we were talking. I asked him if he watched the game. He goes, I said, how about that 35-yard run? He goes, you know what? I was never prouder. He goes, in Little Gritters, he kept putting his hand on the guy's mask and pushing down, trying to make their head go down. Uh-huh. And I said, you're going to get called for that. He goes, why? I'm not grabbing the mask. It doesn't matter. It looks like it if you put your hand on their face. And he goes, he watches him there, and he sees him stiff arm that guy straight out right to the ground. He goes, yes, he's listening to me.
He was at the boys basketball game tonight, messing around with the little kids there.
Was he?
He's such a cool guy to have in town. He seems to be the same kid he was when he was a high school kid. Very nice and shaking hands and just being an entertaining, fun-loving guy. So it's cool to see him succeed. 8 yards or something he had against.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns. He had a 56-yarder in which nobody came close to touching him.
Yeah, that looked like the old school Meadville against Du Bois run that 56-yarder against Memphis. They ended up beating Memphis 53-39 in the Cotton Bowl. Journey had 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, and I'm sure everybody in town has seen the highlights from that.
I'm just waiting now for the Penn State quarterback to throw an interception on. At the 20-yard line, and on the other side of the field, the guy take off down the sideline, and Journey come from the other sideline, 80 yards, and dump the guy on his head at the 2-yard line like he did to Warren.
That one that I think it was against Cash. That
was
one
it? Oh, Cash, yeah.
He tracked that guy down. That was unbelievable. Let's see, college. So we got the national championship game coming up. You guys psyched for that or no?
I'm pretty excited for it. I think that, I mean, it's definitely the two best teams in the country that have been those two best teams all year. So
LSU and
Clemson. Clemson hasn't lost in 2 years, and LSU looks unstoppable. Frankly, what they did to Oklahoma, even though Oklahoma can't stop anyone. I mean, LSU could have sleepwalked through that game and won by 20.
So Joe Burrow against what's that other?
Joe Burrow versus Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, who looks like 70s era Roger Waters. You know, if you from the Live at Pompeii video.
He's got the perfect hair and everything.
He looks just like him.
Yeah, I always call him Sunshine from Remember the Titans.
Sunshine, I think. What's his name? Clevenger gets that as well, doesn't he? Mike Clevenger for the Indians.
Yeah, you guys never lost a game.
Never lost a game. Never lost a game when they're the underdog.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, but that's a testament.
And
to
defending
how good,
national champion.
Yeah, but that's a testament to how good LSU has been this season.
Yeah.
Is that it should be a great game.
I hear a lot of people are annoyed with the delay. We have to wait till the 13th for the national championship game. That does seem kind of weird. Because there's nothing.
It's weird. I was surprised by it. I wasn't, I guess, annoyed, but I was like, wow, it's the 13th. I just feel like, I mean, they're all off for break anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I bet they're having the time of their life, getting to play in a national championship game. So. As long as the players are okay, as long as the coaches are okay, let's just get it going.
Yeah, no college football this weekend, and because of it, though. So that's Oh well, I mean, there's not going to be any college football in a couple weeks, there, is
right? So
let's see what else is going on. Area basketball. Let's see. Meadville got another win tonight. They beat Erie First Christian 88-56, I believe, was the final. 38 points for Davion Butler. He's enjoying himself.
38.
Yeah, he was. He was when I got there second half, and just the time for him to heat up from the 3-point line. I think he had 4 of his 5 3-pointers in the second half. He was just they weren't closing out on him, just kind of letting him go in the wing. He's just okay, swish, swish, swish. They got a really interesting couple weeks coming up here. They're on the road to Fairview on Thursday, which Fairview's 9-1, and then I think they're on the road to McDowell. And then they're on the road to Kennedy, and then I think Cathedral Prep, and then they host Erie. So they're on the road for 4 games, 3 of their first 4 Region 7 games, and then they got Erie at home. All those are going to be tough games. So this is when we now see who Meadville is this year. Those are all 4. Did I say 4 or 5? Why 5 games? Right? That's going to be tough. That's the meat of the order for the first half of the season. And I think they play Sharon after that, and then it's right back to Region 7. They just run through the gauntlet one more time. So that's going to be an interesting couple of weeks for Meadville. I mean, they're a very good team. I don't see why they can't compete with every single one of those schools as they have in the past. Who knows what Kennedy Catholic is? They're evidently still very good. They're still Kennedy Catholic.
They went down to the wire, I think, with Farrell last week.
Oh, yeah.
It came down to a final shot for Farrell, but Kennedy pulled it out. So,
okay.
I mean, Farrell's a very good team.
Yeah.
So, in spite of the classification difference.
Yeah, I don't think Kennedy Catholic is what they were last year. I mean, if you lose a player like Oscar Toshibwe, who's, I don't know if you guys have seen, is tearing it up down at West Virginia.
I was watching a bit of their game yesterday against Oklahoma State. And I mean, he gets a lot of playing time.
Yeah, and
as a freshman.
I mean, imagine him on the high school court. He was such a powerful presence, and so Kennedy's just not going to be the same. They're still going to be really good. They still got Ike Herster, guys like that. So, but I don't think that they're going to be quite what they have been in the past. But still, they're still tough. They're still Kennedy. They're still reigning Class 6A state champ. So there's nothing to sneeze at by no means. You guys are both at games tonight. We'll go boys first. You went to Maplewood.
I went to Maplewood Eisenhower. Yeah, and Maplewood got it done. They were in the midst of I think it was a 4-game skid, and they bounced back well. They took it to Eisenhower early. A team that's had a long road trip, and they were able to get ahead of them early, and they really never looked back. Eisenhower had a big third quarter. Martone had 9 points for them, and Maplewood ended up pulling it out. Joel Cox led the way with 10 points. Clay Cox and Jake Bruno both had 8. It was an all-around good performance by Maplewood. They've kind of struggled with shooting.
Well, we talked about it already.
Yeah.
They lost so much height from the year before
Right.
with Maddox and what was the other kid's name? Hollabaugh.
And I think that's why their shooting, dropped off a little bit because they have to, take more outside shots. You have less layups. Your shooting's not going to be as efficient. But their defense was really strong today. They were forcing turnovers, intercepting passes. They played very smart. Didn't really turn it over themselves. That's a recipe for a lot of wins in high school basketball.
Cash got a pretty good win. The Cash boys today, they were playing Greenville in Region 5. They beat them 63-55 in overtime. It was tied 53-53. And what did I say? 63-55 to be yeah. And then they held Greenville to 2 points in overtime and scored 9 of themselves. I think Tanner Neiman got them off to a good start. He had 5 in the quarter or 5 in the extra period, and that was enough to beat Greenville. So that's a good win for them. And I think they are going to have a pretty good second half of the season. They have two very good players in Cole Askey and Tanner Neiman. I think they just need more guys to step up around them and fill in, and they did that tonight. Neiman had 12. Let's see, Cole Askey had 21. Kronizer had 12, and Walker had 13. So that's what they need. They need more than just Askey and Neiman to do all the scoring. And if they could do that, I think they could have a pretty good second half of the year. Cambridge Springs, they did well last week. I got to see them. What was that, on Friday? Yeah, Friday. Cambridge Springs boys. Yeah. They handled Sagertown pretty well. That final was 67-36. I think Cambridge Springs is going to have a pretty good year. They have. I don't think they're quite all the way through Region 3 play yet, but I don't know that anybody's going to.
It's Union City and Youngsville are right on their heel. I think Union City hasn't lost.
They're up at Union City this week, aren't they? They're up there tomorrow. Jeez, I wonder how we could get to that. God, we got so much stuff going on tomorrow. Sagertown at Cochrane Boys, Greenville at Conneaut Wrestling, McDowell at Meadville Wrestling, Cochrane at Maplewood Wrestling. Jeez, oh man. Okay, well, we need to replicate ourselves overnight here, guys.
Yeah, it looks like those three are. Then there's a bit of a drop off in the region. So, Youngsville, I don't know. I was surprised with that resurgence.
Yeah.
But Cambridge and Union City, Union City was one of the better teams in the region last year. So
yeah,
they lost
shared?
at
That's
Cockerton.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
But it was close. They were the runner up. And I bet they want to avoid that again this year. Yeah. But Cambridge looks really strong.
They do. Very good. They got great size, good shooters. They defend hard. I think it's going to be a good game for them. We'll see. Tomorrow's going to be a big one against Union City. Let's see. Girls basketball. You went to a big one tonight, didn't you, Matt?
Yes. Maplewood at Cochranton. It was an interesting game. Cochranton came out really good on defense. Maplewood started off a little cold. Shots weren't going down, and Cochran actually led 16-7 with about 30 seconds left, and then Maplewood scored 6 points in the last 30 seconds to get it down to 5 points going into the second quarter, and then they were able to carry that momentum and started getting hot from the outside. Izzy Eimer hit a couple of 30-foot bombs, and then Jordan Roser hit a couple 3-pointers, and they just kind of went from there and ended up winning at 74-59. But Maplewood looks good. If they get ahead and start hitting their 3-pointers, they're gonna be hard to catch because I don't think another team can hit 3-pointers away.
I am so impressed that it's refreshing to see a high school basketball team that can shoot 3-pointers and make them at a high clip.
And the other thing, they hit their free throws. So if you foul them, you're just if you try and foul them so they don't get the 3-pointer, you're just giving them 3 points the easy way. Because they don't miss their free throws very much. I was impressed actually with Cochranton as well. They're very scrappy.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to come at you from start to end. They haven't had a whole lot of luck in the region. They lost some tough games.
Yeah.
They lost one to Cambridge that I believe they had a lead in, and then Cambridge got hot and ran away with it. They just haven't been able. Once they figure out how to play a full game, start to finish, the way they played that first quarter and even into the second quarter, they're going to be a tough out.
They like to grind you out with that press.
And they can hit the 3-pointer.
Yeah.
They hit 8 tonight. Maplewood hit 9. So I mean, they can hit the 3-pointer. They got some girls off the bench who come in and give them some give them some good play inside. So it'll be interesting. Now at the end of the year, can they stay in the hunt to get a playoff spot? Can they knock off one of the teams above them and play havoc with the seeding and all that stuff? It'll be interesting down the stretch. It's going to be fun. I think that region's going to be fun to watch the last 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, it is. Wrestling. You guys are at Tool City this week. That was a pretty good year. Pretty good tournament for some local kids, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. 6 champs. 3 from Meadville.
That was Tommy Pollard, 220.
Yes.
Vincent Ronaldo was 113.
113.
Vincent Ranella.
And Trent Tidball at 170.
Tidball 170. Yeah.
Kenny Kaiser repeated at 138
for Sagertown. And his teammate Alex Keitlinger won 126.
126. And then the
JD McFadden.
Oh, JD McFadden at 182.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, all won pretty handily, I would say. I think that they all pretty much controlled their matches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like they gave up maybe a couple escapes.
Yeah,
and that's it.
And a bunch of them got the leads early. It seemed like they had really strong starts, and they were able to just continually get points and some of the escapes were actually they would let them go to try to rack up more points.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, really strong performances. I think Meadville ended up in third.
Third place, yes. And I checked my history, which unfortunately is not completely finished yet. And I've got back to about 2004, and since 2004, their highest finish was 6th. So this is the first time since at least 2003, I believe.
What did they get last year?
6th.
6th.
They had 6th last year, the year before that, and then they had a couple in the 13s and 14s. And there was another year they were 7th, another year.
What about those years with
But I haven't gotten back into that where they were in the standings in those years. They've won 6 titles, so it's not like this is their best finish ever.
And Sagertown was 4th.
Yeah.
I mean, the team that they passed, Sagertown was ahead of them, and Meadville was able to surpass them with their 3 title winners.
And then here's the gist of my story from that on the second day was the team that won,
North Allegheny.
30 years ago, they were here with a really good team. They actually had 5 guys on that team that went on to Division I. Ty Moore, I believe, was a national champion.
Oh, yeah?
Ray Bringer went to Iowa. Or was it Tigmore? It's his brother, I believe. But they had 5 guys come here and win Tool City titles.
Like the Burger Restaurant.
Which set the record. And then Cathedral Prep later tied it, or was it vice versa? One of the two. 5 guys win Tool City titles, and they didn't win the team title that year.
Yeah, that is what you said.
Which
that
was
they were that good if
what?
they still didn't win.
So 30 years later, they get 4 champs. They stuck 7 guys in the finals, and they just ran away with the team title. So it took them 30 years, but they finally got that elusive team title.
They went 7 for 7 in the semis, you said?
They went 7 for 7 in the semis. That's what put them over the top, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then their 195-pounder, Marcinelli, won the AAA OW. Mm-hmm. And Kenny Kaiser from Sagertown won the AA OW.
So that was a good tournament for them, and as we mentioned, that's a big one for Meadville. Wednesday, tomorrow, is going to be McDowell at Meadville. Do we have an 11 o'clock deadline? No, that's 8 o'clock. Or that's the 15th. So yeah, that's a big one there. Cognitive Maplewood Wrestling tomorrow. Oh yeah, and then Preps at Meadville next Wednesday on the 15th. So yeah, Meadville's hitting the heart of its order in wrestling as well. Let's see, what else is coming up? That's about it for wrestling. What else is going on? Boston Red Sox apparently are cheating as well.
Everybody's cheating in baseball.
Like I said, if you ain't cheating, you ain't winning. Look at the Patriots. They get caught, but they get busted filming Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. They lose their last 2 games of the year.
I just love the way the baseball teams are cheating. There is this Twitter account that did this big analysis of the Astros cheating, and how they're banging the garbage can and just goofy stuff.
That's been going on for years. The sign stealing. The Minnesota Twins infamously used to turn the air conditioner on.
Right, but it's
when they were at bat because it caused the Winds draft out. and then when the opposing team came on, they would turn on the heat, and it would cause the draft to go in. So
Really?
yeah,
it's the
supposedly
it's the technology. I think that's making it more interesting now. Where the Red Sox, they keep mentioning the Apple Watches, and the Astros like setting up cameras, and they got guys like hiding in like the hallway with cameras.
Pretty shady, man.
I know. This is wild.
Let's see.
What was the other one? The Vikings used to pipe in fan noise.
The Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons.
Because they're fans. Because Atlanta is kind of it's a city of transplants. You know, like a lot of people come in from other cities, so it's hard for the Atlanta to get this big, loud home venues. They would be pumping in crowd noise.
I remember when that happened. They got fined pretty steeply for that, didn't they?
Yeah.
For crowd noise. So any other sports stuff you guys want to talk about?
Anything coming up? Anything past?
Jordanian, nothing.
No, it's a pretty
caught it all up.
Pretty easy week.
Yeah.
Couple weeks.
Well, yeah, it's been a couple weeks.
We've been off for 2 weeks, but there hasn't been anything going on. I mean, we had the holiday tournament, but there wasn't anything spectacular in anything like that. Meadville played well in the Brook tournament.
Yeah, they had they were down a couple illnesses, right? Keon Lindsay was injured, and I think Davion was sick. Somebody else was sick too. Charlie Wade.
Wade was sick.
So they didn't play in the championship game. They ended up
husband was sick too, but he played.
Buckhannon Upshur in West Virginia.
Yeah.
No clue. But apparently they're decent because they beat Meadville, even though Meadville was down a few guys.
And Meadville was right with them until the final period.
Yeah.
They were right there. And yeah. At some point when you're missing two of your best players and two of your other best players are not 100% because they're ill, you're gonna lose. You're probably gonna lose those games more often than not.
Who's the only? I don't want to.
Who's the only?
Yeah, so Cochran girls, they won the tournament title at the Cash tourney. That's right, they beat Cash in the final, didn't they? Yeah. Not sure who else won championship games, but. Let's see. So you all saw the Star Wars movie then?
I did see it.
Hey guys, if you don't want to know anything, shut it off because I have to have
spoiler warning right here. Yeah,
that was so freaking much. Holy crap, that movie! I just thing.
It was a bit overwhelming. Like I left
introducing
like
characters. Yeah, I mean it's like they have so many loose ends to wrap up in that story, and they're introducing new characters in this movie. Like halfway through, there's a new guy. Who is this guy?
The problem I think is that they didn't. Disney says they had a clear direction. No, they very clearly did not.
No way.
Because Rian Johnson's what was it, Last Jedi, the second one, had nothing to do with this.
No.
Like they literally used this movie to scrap the last one and say none of that matters. Guess what? This one matters now. And then I guess it's a learning curve. I liked it.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed the movie and like.
But if I think about it, just a centimeter below surface level, it's like the cracks start to show, and it's like, what the hell?
It's very fan servicey. They kind of did like what the Reddit bulletin boards wanted. I remember I was talking with my friends and I was like, wouldn't it be cool if like Rey was like somehow like with like Emperor Palpatine like somehow related to him or somehow related to like a bad character, like, where she wasn't. I didn't want her to be a Skywalker. Of course, she ends up being a Skywalker
somehow.
No, she didn't.
Well, she calls herself.
She is, but then you can call yourself anything you want. You can call yourself.
No, I know, but what
Antonio
I
Brown.
mean is like I think that was kind of. I think that was kind of like all right, cool. Like I mean.
Well, I think it was just that's why the whole Rise of Skywalker thing was kind of dumb. The title of it because. It was the fall of Skywalker. It was the end of the whole. It was the fall of Skywalker. It was over. Yeah.
But it just like it took all like Rian Johnson wanted to be like it doesn't matter. You don't have to be one of these old guard things to be special. You can be special in your own way. And Disney's like, nope. You have to be in relation to all the old characters.
It's a very small galaxy.
There's the other problem. Here's the thing you're looking at, and that's the issue. Everyone's like, oh, see, they ruined it. I said, everyone's like, oh, Rian Johnson said she was nobody. No. Snoke, who's a Sith Lord, and Kylo Ren, who's Sith, they don't tell the truth. So of course they're going to tell her she's nobody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they want her to be angry, and they want her to feel like she's nobody, to get that anger, because they want her to be on the dark side.
Here's my one problem with the parentage of Rey, is that how is Palpatine's son her dad? Nothing. He means, like, what is he? Like, what is his job? How do you would think that Emperor Palpatine would have, like, a job plan for his son? Like,
maybe.
Yeah.
I want you. Why isn't he the one? Why is he, like, just non-Force user? I find that hard to believe.
Could be.
Yeah, the
Force
direct descendant of Emperor Palpatine has no force power.
Force isn't necessarily.
It skips generations.
They didn't explain.
Well, the other aspect
well.
of that is,
I was super interested in Rey's dad. I was like, how is this guy not important enough? How did he get, like, away from Palpatine?
That's
like,
what
how
I
do
mean. Just does a little bit of analysis of the plot of this movie.
I bet if there's a book that comes out, I am going to read the book, because the book will be more insightful.
Did his son even know he was a Palpatine?
I think so. I mean,
it sure sounded like him.
Mm-hmm.
But then he was, like, worried that Palpatine would find her. How would Palpatine have known if he didn't know who the son was?
Could have found out afterwards.
But he did know.
He might not have known for,
It was bizarre. That movie was strange.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I gotta see it again, because, like, it was a roller coaster ride. Like, it was super, like, action packed, entertaining, super entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just, I feel like there's still a lot of question marks that will never be solved.
There's a lot of question marks in all 9 movies if you want to really get into it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we also put Star Wars on this, like, pedestal when it's...
I don't.
But, like, I think that, or maybe a lot of people do, that, like, we expect it to be these, like, legendary films, and really they're shooting, like, 33%. If you look at, like, how good, like, if it's a good movie or not.
New Hope and Empire were great.
New Hope and Empire, I will always defend Revenge of the Sith. I really liked Revenge of the Sith.
I like Revenge of the Sith.
Which one is that?
That's episode 3.
Episode 3.
The last prequel, the one, I think that movie, I think that movie is epic.
I actually liked the first 2 of this better than the last one.
Of the sequels.
Yeah.
I think all 3 of these movies I enjoyed, but I like Revenge of the Sith more than all 3 of these newer ones.
Do you?
Yeah.
I would put.
Hayden Christensen is rough, but besides that, like,
well, that's the problem with the whole prequels, is just the whole
the
acting,
writing.
the green.
Quite frankly, out of the first 3 movies, the prequels, episode 1, 2, and 3, disregarding Mace Windu and Yoda, who were in it sparingly compared to the other. The only guy, Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor was the only guy out of there I would have kept. I would have got rid of.
Liam Neeson too.
Liam,
he was good too.
A lot of their best acting is, like, used sparingly.
Mm-hmm.
They spent too much time with Hayden Christensen. But I don't think anyone, like, just kind of going off on this tangent. No one can survive those lines that they had written for him.
They were awful.
They were awful lines.
They were awful. And,
like,
and Natalie Portman's usually solid. She could not. You could
give those to I'm blinking, like, the best actors in the world, and they would still struggle with that.
Yeah, it was leaden and just gross.
Natalie Portman's a good actress.
Right, that's my point.
Yeah.
Well, no, but that's my point. Ewan McGregor somehow pulled it off. So did.
Yeah.
He just went like balls to the wall though.
So
like,
did.
He got super dramatic.
Yeah. He was, like, overly dramatic,
right? He was just having fun with it,
Right.
He was going, like, crazy.
Speaking of Star Wars, some of the best thing I've ever seen in a Star Wars world is that scene in the last episode of The Mandalorian when the biker troopers are just talking, and they have Baby Yoda in the sack, and he's shooting at the box and missing every time. He's like, "Let me see it." You just want to look at it, don't you? Oh man, that was the funniest thing.
Everything that Jon Favreau touches in terms of, like, comic books and, like, it's awesome. I thought The Mandalorian is so good. Yeah. I can't wait. I cannot wait until the fall.
And here's the other thing about this with The Mandalorian. Jon Favreau had that whole thing written, start to finish,
That's the key.
including episode 2 or season 2, all that start to finish, mapped out, written. He brought in great people to
Great
direct.
directors, yeah.
Watiti and himself and all this.
I think Bryce Dallas Howard was one of the directors.
Yeah.
Oh, was she?
For one of them.
And
yeah.
I mean,
she was, wasn't she?
And they would have been better off with Star Wars. See what they did? They spent all that money. They spent $8 billion, plus giving George Lucas however much Disney stock. I think he owns 3% of the company through that deal.
And he's still a consultant for all the films.
And they're like, no. Somebody said, I'm not sure who it was in the company. I'm sure somebody had to say, listen, let's sit down, map this out. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Instead, they're like, no, we need money now. They brought in J.J. Abrams.
Like they did with the Marvel Universe. They had an
Right.
overarching
Exactly.
theme for the entire series.
And the key is like they keep the same guys in charge of like the Avengers
running it like a
property.
showrunner.
Yeah. Right.
Knowing where it's supposed to go and to hit these beats and everything.
I think
like
I think they'll definitely learn from this.
And Kevin Feige's got the next probably 20 years mapped out in his head.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're starting the next phase of that.
Phase
soon,
2.
Yeah. So
But I think there'll be a learning curve. I imagine the next trilogy is not going to come out for a while. They're going to have
It's not going to be a trilogy. They might be attached, but they're not being a trilogy.
They're not doing trilogies anymore.
No, that's what they've said. We'll see if they stick to that.
Mm-hmm. But I mean,
I think what it sounds like they want to do, and I think that this is why they're bringing Kevin Feige in to do one of them, at least one.
Oh, they already have him in the works.
Yeah.
They're already, wow.
2022, I believe.
Oh my god.
23, one of the two. But they're kind of bringing him in. I think I'm hoping they're going to bring him in, map it out, do this, and then bring those three together for like a big boo.
It is smart. Like I think that Disney has all the money in the world, so they can give Star Wars to like great directors or people that are really good at
Terrence
this,
Malick.
and are really good at this type of movie. Like
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Feige, you cannot deny that he is good at this type of blockbuster movie.
And they own Marvel too, so
Yeah, I would love to see it like a Guillermo del Toro Star Wars movie.
Well, yeah.
Or I'd love to see
I would love to see them let Guillermo del Toro do, not
and do it his way.
let him get halfway through the process and then fire him because their visions aren't lining up.
Mm-hmm.
Let him see what he could do. Just give him a standalone. You don't have to bounce whole franchise.
Give me an intense Star Wars.
Go talk to
somebody
go
do
talk to Guillermo del Toro and say, listen, we're thinking about this. Give us your ideas.
Yeah.
Give us you. And then if you don't like it, you don't have to say, you know what, we don't really like this. This isn't really our thing. Thank you very much. Sorry it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But bring it. That was the problem again with this trilogy. They wanted to go out and throw everything out there as fast as they could to try and make as much money as they could right away, and they did.
Why is this? What is this new droid doing here? Why this new droid?
Abrams
What's he
makes.
doing?
He was fun. He was
Abrams
adorable.
makes.
He's
Abrams
a new
writes.
toy.
When they hired Abrams, he gets the first script done, and then they bring in Ryan Johnson. Is like, oh, here's his script. You can work off that. So he writes his thing based off of this. He's like,
and his was good.
and here's where this is going. He's like, all right, so we're going here, we're going here, we're going here. There's some stuff in The Last Jedi that was going to be in The Force Awakens that got cut out or whatever. So he's already starting his as they're finishing up theirs. Now what are you going to do? Go back and reshoot his whole movie because you took out half the stuff that he was working off of from the script?
the Reddit,
rather than having the scripts done and saying, here they are, this is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know if this was, well, it was Disney saying we need money now, and then Kathleen Kennedy going, all right, we're going to do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of...
And what was that lady with the red mask? What was her deal?
That was Poe's love interest.
Yeah, what do we need that?
As Carrie Russell.
So do we need that?
We like Carrie Russell.
We got a whole new planet, a whole new lady, a whole new people in danger. Can we deal with the stuff that we came here to watch? Why are we getting presented with new stuff? You don't have enough time to deal
new
with the
stuff combined
you have.
with old stuff that we never thought would come back.
Oh, man, she never even takes off her mask.
So it'd be interesting to see what happens. I did hear the plan, as I have heard, for the next batch of Star Wars movies is going to be 400 years ahead of Episode 1. So it'll be the Old Republic or the...
That's cool.
That'd be interesting.
See, that's what they got to do. They got to like
any of the
build
Star Wars movies that will be around will be Yoda, because he's 900 years old.
That's what they got to do. Is they gotta like build the lore up and build the world.
Yoda,
Right.
teenage years.
Like I am really tired.
Yoda running around with his lightsaber and zits. Yeah.
I cannot tell you how tired I am of desert planets. I want less desert planets. Every planet is a desert planet.
I do not.
J.J. Abrams loves deserts. He had a desert in this movie. He had a desert. Where's Hoth? I want or like unique. I thought Rogue One is one of my favorite Star Wars movies, possibly my favorite.
Oh, is that right?
And like it's it's like grittier. You know, it's like I thought it was cooler because it was more intense. Like the heroes don't make it. You know, it's
Spoiler.
I mean, if you know the New Hope, you know like the kind of the Rogue One story, how it happens,
Right,
and
right. Which, by the way, if you follow out the Rogue One story, it ends up on a desert planet. So
Is it? What's with the palm trees?
R2D2 and
well, we don't get
yeah,
there. There is no desert in Rogue One.
But it ends up.
We have the rainy place. We have the regular like cliff
the whole like
place
the lagoon world
and the lagoon world, and Mustafar with Darth Vader.
But yeah, I really liked how the Mandalorian finished up.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian
Gus
is
Fring
super
shows
Can't wait,
up out of
to, can't wait for Ewan McGregor. He has said now he is doing.
I think
Star
that'll
Wars.
be good
He is
too.
doing the
because
Obi-Wan TV show.
You just get to let Ewan McGregor do Ewan McGregor things.
Yeah, that's going to be good. So there's stuff to look forward to. I just think this, like we said, it was entertaining. It was just really noisy, and
So it's definitely a popcorn like
just doesn't stand up to a whole lot of scrutiny.
no.
There's I don't know. Ugh.
I will watch it again, but like it's very like explosive, action packed, but like it's just the substance isn't really there.
I wouldn't mind seeing them pick up again from the Solo storyline, because I kind of liked Solo and I liked where it left off, and I wanted to know more about those characters and where that goes with Emilia Clarke's character and everything like that.
I think they're confusing like Solo as a movie. Like I think Disney executives are confusing Solo as like a movie compared to their box office scores. Solo didn't do well not because it's a bad movie. It didn't do well because people were Star Wars'd out.
There was a lot of enmity built up towards the Star Wars universe because of the missteps in the newest trilogy.
Solo is one of the coolest twists at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a cool movie, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
Star Wars is super.
Interestingly
compelling.
enough, the Solo movie was written by the writers who helped write the original trilogy.
Oh, is that right?
Star Wars, yeah.
And that was another one that like their production was messed up because they switched people halfway.
Yeah, Ron Howard ended up taking.
Ron Howard had to finish it up because the original directors were going for more of a comedy type thing.
And the thing that's funny is like you can definitely tell that movie.
Comedy works though.
It does.
Right.
That scene in Mandalorian I mentioned earlier was hilarious.
Well, it is, but can you imagine a Star Wars where every scene is comedy? They were really making it kind of a...
but like
from what I understand,
Who else did they have in Mandalorian? They had like Bill Burr was in it.
Yeah,
Bill Burr
Horatio
was in it.
Sands was
Awesome.
in it. Brian Posehn was in that one scene. They had a lot of
Nick Nolte,
but like
who sadly died.
For you're talking about comedy, like Thor Ragnarok. One of my probably my favorite Marvel.
It's so
movie.
funny.
Right, it is. I love
It was hilarious, and because they know how silly this whole thing is. We're talking about guys with big hammers and rainbow bridges, and and that this is preposterous. Why not? Why be so serious about it?
Especially with Thor, like why are you making Thor super serious? Like it's absurd. Like the concept of Thor is absurd.
That's like my favorite scene in that is when him and Loki are clowning with the ever get help. No. We can help, it all works great.
They learned so much, I think, when they did Guardians. Yeah, like Guardians, like everyone loves Guardians, and it's because comedy is important. Like I think Star Wars has its comedy. Like I think they do pretty well with comedy. I think,
they've got some funny stuff in it, but I don't think the way, from my understanding, like I said, nobody's seen the cut of the original directors were going with. But from my understanding, and this is insiders and this and that, how truthful is that it was just way overboard on the comedy. Some of it dark comedies. It was just.
I think they missed
like Solo. I think that would line up pretty well if you toned it right.
I think they missed they just didn't really hit on the substance of it all, like the why do I care, or like I loved the ending with all the Jedi, like all the voices.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
and Han and Kylo was good. I thought that was.
You want to know funny is which was not. Everyone's like, oh, I can't believe they had a conflict. Like, Han was not a Force ghost.
No,
it was just
he wasn't.
Memory.
But that's what made it cool to me. Is that it was Kylo's memory.
A part I read, whether or not it is true or not, is there is supposed to be a scene that got spliced out just for timing reason or whatever. Was actually Leia sending that message. That's when because right after he turned and threw it, then she disappeared and died.
I
she used the last of her power, her Force powers, to help turn her son back to the.
I like it better that it's introspective. I like it better that he's the one that made the conscious choice to throw.
Well,
it
away.
Is. Yeah.
But if you realize, it goes right back to the scene from The Force Awakens when we're on the bridge. It's almost the exact same scene. He says, "I don't know if I'm strong enough to do it." Han's, you can. But
John Boyega's character was entirely wasted.
Yes.
They threw Rose away.
Rose
got rid of Rose.
That Captain Phasma, or what was the gray stormtrooper with the real tall one, the girl from Game of Thrones?
The silver one, yeah.
Brienne of Tarth.
Did nothing with that. There was so much that they just.
I'll give them credit. Hux had my favorite line. I am the spy.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
I'm the spy.
I'm the spy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But then they had new general guy, and it's like, I don't know who this guy is. But apparently he was a part of the old empire. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he's like, quick, shoot me in the arm. And he goes, all right. Fires one right through the middle of his leg.
So, yeah. That happened. We all gave him our money.
Yeah, yep.
And we will.
Twice.
I will again.
Yeah,
I know I will again. Every single movie they throw at me or show, I will.
So it'll be interesting.
After The Mandalorian ended, I turned my Disney Plus off, and when it starts up again, I'm back on again.
Yeah. All right. I guess that's it, guys. Yeah.
Maybe because somewhere in between there is gonna be other stuff coming up.
Well, when that stuff comes
Loki.
in, I'll turn that on.
WandaVision.
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
I like Hawkeye.
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Are they gonna do evil Hawkeye? Because that was my favorite part of Endgame. Like,
the Roman
him just
character?
taking on the gangsters.
This one is going to be him training his replacement, I believe, who's a female, and which is cool because then, like you said, they can do that. She can take over the Hawkeye.
It's just a new generation of Hawkeye. Yeah.
And then anytime you want to bring Hawkeye, anytime you want to bring Jeremy Renner back, you just bring him back as the Ronin character.
I'm amazed that I think it's kind of crazy that there are 2 world-class archers still around.
What do you mean?
like everybody else is these like super awesome superpowers, and it's just like these guys are just really good at shooting bow and arrow.
I haven't really explored Disney Plus a whole lot. I've watched The Mandalorian. I watched The Black Hole.
They're not just bow and arrows, though. They got special bow and
ridiculous
arrows.
movie.
That's right. They got bomb bow and arrows.
And all that kind of stuff.
It's like the Hunger Games bow and arrow.
But I'm going to explore Disney Plus a little longer to see if there's stuff I want to watch.
That Hunger Games too fake.
I never watched any of the Hunger Game movies.
Me either.
They're unique. They don't stand up to like the really good like book to movie things. They're good. They're interesting. I would just say that.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening this week. We'll try it again next week and see if we could get some other
find something else to read about.
Yeah. Come with your rants We appreciate you listening, and we'll talk to you guys next week. For Matt, for Jordan, for Pete,
and for Star Wars,
and for
May the Fourth be with you.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian.